many fish bites if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm a going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too.
It was on kilos. Still shaking. Here we go. Oh my god. What does it say, Ben? What does it say? 11. No way! 6. No way! Let me see it, let me see it. Oh! Yeah! Fucking language. How many times? 11.5 pound.
So tell us, how many times did it take you to get that fish?
Well, you should know.
Well, 10, 12 or more?
I've got to be honest, fish fans, it's taken me a lot of time, patience, a lot of upset, disappointment. I'm really disappointed that it's dead, but that's another story. I've taken...
So I know how upsetting it must be for you that you had to kill that fish.
Yeah, I know, it was one of those things that, you know, my ambition has been this autumn. There's all these big fish being caught, big conger, big cod, big bass. I'm out there night after night, leaving you on your own. You haven't been moaning. And there it is. My ambition was to get this on GoPro, a great fight, all the sequence, blah, 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 and actually release the fish. That was my one fantasy, if you like, to actually let a big one go on camera. And the one time I don't take the GoPro, and there you go.
So do you want to tell us something about the fight and the catch?
I'm still shaking, I feel sick, I've cried, you know I've cried. I was upset about killing it. I've spent 10 minutes with this fish, cradling it, backwards and forwards in the water. I've got some video footage of that on my phone. It wasn't gonna go back. The hook was down, it was bleeding like hell out the side, and I thought, you know, try and get it back. And I was in there with it. I was towing it around. It kicked a few times, went on its side, kicked a few times. I let it go. It actually swam away from me, turned around, came back. I carried on for about 10 minutes trying to rescue it, and it just kept going belly up. And at the end of the day, you know, that's what happened. So I am upset, but 11.8, man, that's just like...
I've just found scales on the floor. Don't know whose they are.
They're mine.
But that's reading just under 12, so 12-ish. So
they're not bad, they're salter scales.
No, but just so I got you on two different
I mean, they're right, they're not certified scales, but I'm taking 11.5 at the moment. That is an absolute fish of a lifetime.
So that's what you call it on then, Paul?
You won't believe it, fish fans. I caught it on a worm bait about that big, literally one lug worm on a size 6.0 hook. You won't believe the rod I caught it on as well. I definitely christened my new lure rod. It's not quite LRF, but it's getting that way. Ben's just sorting out my tackle, look. So I've had him on that. 8-pound line, baby. That's what it's all about, as I always say.
Read out what it's called on there.
I got this from Seaview Angling. It's a little Rovex plugger rod. It weren't expensive, 45 quid. The reel, 50 quid. You know, I've been trying all these new methods for the last couple of months. Raying, codding, this, that. Getting nowhere. So it was just back to basics, Bassman. Do what you do best. Try and get away from the schoolies. Like I say, I've been down there a dozen times for that fish. I've not had a bite for at least 6 times, not even a sniff.
This is a 20 to 50 gram rod. I'd just like to add there. It's 20 to 50 gram rod.
Here's the tip. That's what we're talking about.
With his
On my little, that's my little R2D2 on the end there. That's a little
bite indicator.
Bite indicator, which was a drunken purchase on Amazon. Flashes green, and when you get a bite, goes red. And did it go red? Yeah.
So Ben, what do you think about the fish?
Yeah, it's a good fish actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you jealous?
No, I'm not jealous.
No. In a
Kudos
good
to
way.
him. He's fair play to him. He's been out there doing it. So yeah, fair play. It's a fish of a lifetime. I've caught him off the boat. Similar sort of size, not a double yet.
You've had him up to 9.5.
9.5, close to, but
I mean,
you know, I can't knock him. He's caught it. He's been out every night on the shore fishing away. And there's his method. Look.
This is the rig. Right. Now let's just. Can you just get that off there? I'm all a bag of nerves. I can't do anything. I don't even know how I drove here. Basically, I've been experimenting with these Tronics Pro floating beads now for a while, and I found that 3 was working for me. But then I started to get crabbed out again. So I started to put a few more on, and I actually copied this off Brett, my good buddy Brett Arnett's. He was out with his son, and I saw his son catch a bass, and he had a string of these on, and I said to him, mate, you don't need all those beads, you only need like 3. So I've actually found out myself through trial and error that no, you don't need 3, you need 7 or 8. So literally it was a little paternoster riglet, 15-pound line, so it's very thin line, a 3-way swivel, yeah, just down to the weight, and that was it. And I tossed it out in about 1.5 to 2 foot of water. Next minute, rod straightened, I'm running down the beach. If you can imagine, I'm fishing the very first flood, but the ebb was still going out with a little bit of flood water on it. I'm down at the beach, and the waves were in the distance, and the next thing, whack, this thing took off at a rate of knots. All I could do was hold on to the rod. Luckily the drag was set, because the other day my best mate Matt was down from London, had exactly the same thing happen. The rod straightened, bang, and he lost it because he wasn't ready for it really. It wasn't really his fault, he just wasn't ready for the big bite. So I had this in my mind, and when it went, all I could do was walk down with it, just following it, and it was just all the time. I'm thinking, well, is this a sea trout or a salmon? Or I just didn't know what it was. It didn't feel like a cod. It wasn't bumpy. It was just nuts. And eventually, in a big pool, just before it reached the surf, I got the spotlight on it, and I just saw it, and obviously it was a big fish, and I was like, oh my god, just stay calm, Bassman. Don't rush it. Don't go for your phone. Don't try and record anything. Just concentrate on the fish. And with that, I managed to turn him. This is after about a good 12-13 minutes. I turned him. He was coming in on his side. He had a couple more kicks, run out again. I'm like, no. Turned him again, and I literally had to walk back. I couldn't wind anymore because the fish was so heavy. I just had to walk back with the rod, and I was just praying that this light line wouldn't break. And you know, I'm using Yoshi 8-pound line on there, and it's just fantastic. You just can't snap it. And I just managed to pull the fish to the shore, literally ran down, and I was like, just, what can you say to see that? Just dream come true.
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Well done, honey. You deserved it.
This here line.
Thank you.
This here 15-pound line.
Yeah,
Is that fluorocarbon?
that's just amnesia.
Straight up line.
Just amnesia, 15-pound.
Right, so it's not fluoro, so they can't actually see that line then.
Well, it was dark, but this would have been on the floor, and it was so shallow that this would have been actually out. This would have been like that. It would have probably been about this far off the ground when the fish took, and there was just one and a half worm on that 6.0 hook, you know, which is a tiny little bait for that. I mean, look at the size of that, you know. But unfortunately, it sucked it right down. I did manage to get it out, and he was bleeding so much out of one side. As I say, he just went belly up, and that was it really.
I suppose the big question is, where did you get it?
Well, the answer to that is,
Check no one's coming.
that's for me to know and you to find out.
That's it. Cut that out. It's fucking £11, £12 fish.
Right, hang on.
Are you on one of those?
I got him on the nose.
I'll tell you, it's 84 centimetres.
84? Woohoo!
84.
Yeah, baby, I'll take that.
84. 83 and a half, 84.
I'll take that. 11.5 pound, 83.5 centimetres. Woohoo!
Well done. Well done.
Any fish bites if you got good bait. Here's a little tip that I would like to relate. Many fish bites if you got good bait. I'm a going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing, and my baby going fishing too.